Cruella is the latest live-action film from Disney Studios, and it follows their Maleficent? Cruella is the latest live-action film from Disney Studios, and it follows their Maleficent formula, if you will, where they take the classic villain from an old story and give them a backstory and talk about their origins and kind of humanize them. And Cruella de Vil, of course, is the villain from the classic 101 Dalmatians story, and it stars Emma Stone as a title character. And yeah, it's basically an origin story of how she became the Cruella de Vil that we all know. I say that we all know, but I haven't actually watched any of the 101 Dalmatian movies, so my knowledge of Cruella de Vil is basically zero. I know Glenn Close played the character a while back, maybe in the 90s or so, I can't really remember, but I never saw the cartoon, I never saw Glenn Close's movie, so yeah, I never really had a preconceived perception of what Cruella de Vil is supposed to be. So I guess that could be good or bad, because as a result, I had no expectations as to what this character should be like in this movie, so I was able to see it with a fresh perspective. I'll start with the performances. Emma Stone is a great actress. She's pretty fantastic in everything that she's done. I was kind of getting close to a point where I'm kind of over her though, like kind of overexposure a little bit. I like La La Land, of course. I love La La Land actually. I thought she was great in Zombieland, and all the movies that she's in I really actually enjoyed, but I was like, I kind of feel like her time is coming where like she's gonna be like an afterthought. But seeing this movie, I take it back. Emma Stone is still indeed a great movie star, and her performance is awesome. I thought she was really great as Cruella de Vil. Her accent, her British accent, I thought was spot on, but I'm the worst guy to judge because I think a real British accent is Austin Powers.
Yeah, baby!
So I can't speak whether how authentic it is, but it sounded real to me. But yeah, I thought she brought a lot of humanity to the character, and she did a really great job. Emma Thompson is also very good as usual. She plays the villain of the film, the Baroness, who is like the rival of Cruella de Vil in this fashion world that they reside in. So I thought she was really good too. And the supporting characters, I can't remember his exact name, but I think it's Paul Thomas Howard, I want to say. The kind of chubby guy, you know, I like chubby guys, but he plays one of Cruella's sidekicks, and he's fantastic, and he's good in everything that he's in, as well as Cobra Kai. You know, he was in that as well, so he's always good. I'd always like to see him. And he was really good in I, Tonya, which was this director's previous film, and I loved I, Tonya a lot. I thought it was really great movie, really well made. So I had kind of high expectations for this movie, knowing that the director of I, Tonya also directed Cruella. Now that being said, I do feel that a lot of the edge that he had in directing I, Tonya was now gone. It could be a result of Disney meddling in his final product, I don't know, but it just didn't have that cutting edge feel to cinema as I, Tonya did. There's still those Scorsese like camera moves and homages, if you will, and I still appreciated that. His camera work, his technical skills are still pretty good, but I just felt like, yeah, the whole movie as a whole was a little watered down for what I thought he could do, and I thought he could do better with this material. And I guess that's, I want to place the blame on Disney, just because it's easy to blame Disney as this corporate formulaic studio, but that's what works for them. And I thought Cruella could have been a lot darker movie. In fact, when I first saw the trailer for Cruella, I really thought it was comparable to like a Joker type of film, where it really kind of featured the dark side of this character, but instead this movie kind of makes her the hero. And it kind of confuses you a little bit, because she's supposed to be this really nasty villain from what I hear in the 101 Dalmatians movies, and then this movie again kind of humanizes her, gives her a reason of how to become who she became. So again, I think that can be a little confusing. I think if they had just kind of chosen a much darker path for this character, it would have been much more intriguing and interesting, but then again, it probably wouldn't be a Disney film. The screenplay I had some issues with. I think it borrowed a little too heavily from other movies. There's definitely a Devil Wears Prada vibe to it. There's scenes straight out of Mannequin Thomas Crown Affair and other famous films, and so you just kind of like, oh, I saw that in that movie. Oh, that scene I saw in that movie. So I thought there was some lack of originality in that sense. Also, again, I'm not sure if this is the director's choice, but usually it is. There's a lot of music to this movie, and I'm usually one who wants more music in a film, and I want more songs. I think the movie soundtrack has been a lost art in the last couple of decades, but this movie, I think, overuses that tool, and it's like the first half of the movie especially, it's like every single scene has its own song to it, and some of it is just a little too head-on in terms of the obvious song you would pick for that particular scene, and it just kind of took me out of the film a little bit. I thought it was a little overused tool in developing those scenes. It was a bit much for me. So yeah, outside of the performances of the main characters and also the supporting cast, I don't know if I like too much about this film. For one, it does feel very long. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, I believe. There really is no need for it to be that long. They really invest a lot in the backstory, and I did like the part of the movie where they showed Cruella as a child, but I think that could have been tightened up and probably shortened by a good 10 minutes or so. And then there's a lot of fluff in the second half, and this whole fashion world war thing between Cruella and the Baroness, I just didn't really end up caring too much about it, to be honest. The fashion was not really my thing, and that got me thinking as well, who is this film really made for? Because being a Disney film, most of the time Disney films are geared towards kids, but I don't see what appeal this movie would have towards kids, to be honest. It's not as dark as I would want it to be, but it is a little too dark, I would feel, for younger children. And it's not made for dudes, or most dudes anyway. They don't really give a shit about this Cruella character. I mean, I really didn't care. I was more intrigued by Emma Stone as the director more than anything than the character and the story itself. So I'm not quite sure who the audience for this film is. And I know Maleficent did great, and it's a big franchise for Disney now, and I'm sure they're gonna try and do this formula again for another villain. So I guess who's up next? I don't know. The backstory of Jafar, or maybe even Ursula from Little Mermaid. I don't know, but if this film does really well, I wouldn't be surprised to see those movies come out as well. But for me, Cruella gets a 6 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching my review. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up and press on that button to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more reviews in the future.